Welcome to Decompression Level 1. In Decompression Level 1, we are going to spend 10 minutes in a decompression position on an elevated surface like this couch that I have behind me. After we do 10 minutes, we're going to spend 6 minutes on an elevated position, opening each one of our hips. We're going to go back to the couch for 10 minutes. After that 10 minutes, we're going to get into some groundwork rocking and finish off with another 10 minutes. This is 40 minutes of decompression work. We're trying to create length, we're trying to create space within our body so that we can reduce the inflammation and compressive forces that we are experiencing currently. So it takes a lot of patience. It takes the ability for us to downregulate, to take our mind's activity, turn it down a couple notches, to take all of our body and do less work. Doing less work, doing less activity in the brain is actually a skill. It's difficult to do. So this is why I've chosen to do this entire video so that you can follow along with me if you need a little bit of accountability. Now, if you don't want to follow along with me, you're free to do this work on your own. You can be very creative with how you do this work. It doesn't have to be the singular thing that you can do. You can hold decompression positions and read a book, play on your phone, watch a movie, hang out, really. And there's different ways that you can include this as part of your life and your routine so you don't have to put everything on pause. But when we are learning the skill of downregulating, decompressing, creating length and space in the body, it is a good idea to singularly focus on that and give yourself the time and attention to understand how to navigate and use that time to productively open and create some healing within the body. Today, I only have 3 pieces of equipment that are essential. The first one is going to be a comfy ground mat. This could be a rug, this could be a yoga mat, anything that makes you feel comfortable on the ground. The second thing that I have is a couch. A couch is just an elevated surface that I'm going to be putting my legs on to use as a prop. It's got a nice thick cushion, so anything that feels good, we want to be comfortable while we're doing this decompression. And the last one is optional, is this band. This band is going to assist in keeping my legs in a nice straight alignment while I do some decompression. It's not going to be necessary, this band, but it is handy if you do have one. Again, we're going to be doing 3 rounds of 10 minutes on the decompression on the couch. And in between those 3 rounds, we're going to be doing a little bit of groundwork and opening for our hips. I cannot stress how important this work is and how often you may find yourself coming back to it to create space and to create some healing in your body when it's needed. I'm going to get our time started, but let's find our couch surface and let's start to begin. We're going to lay on our backs and place our legs on the couch surface ahead of us. I want your knees, hips, and feet to all be in a straight line like that. And our feet are not going to be in a duck position, but they're also going to be straight, if not in a pigeon position. My knees aren't going to be wide like this. I want them to be straight. It's very important that they're straight. I've got a low curvature on my back. There's a little bit of a curve on my back. I'm not trying to tuck underneath. This curvature might be something that's helpful. I'm going to start the time. 3, 2, 1. Your butt can be close or a little bit farther away. I want you to position yourself and feel which one makes your body, low back, feel the best. I'm going to use this band as a little bit of assistance to keep me straight while I relax. And my hands are going to be outstretched left and right with my palms open to the sky. This is really important because I'm letting my shoulder fall to the ground. If my hand is this way, that's going to be pulling my shoulder off the ground. I want to open my hand and let my shoulder fall to the ground. Just like my hips, I want my hips to fall to the back space. I want my femur to move down to the backest part of its hip capsule. Finding the shape and creating the shape is so important. Once you have found the shape, then let's take a look at our head positioning and posture. Your head may be jutting forward, your chin up like this. We want to have our chin slightly tucked and tall. So you might want to take your fingertips, reach underneath the back of your skull, and gently create some length for the back of your neck. While we're in this position, we can be hanging out, thinking, reading, playing on our phone, having a conversation, or watching something on a movie screen in front of me if I really just want to not do so much work. However, right now, if we're doing this and this is the only thing that we are doing, we can start to take inventory of the internal mechanisms and sensations of our body. If you want to take a map of your body, I want you to use your thumbs and your index finger. Place your thumbs on your low rib cage and your index finger on your hips. I want you to breathe into your index finger into the lowest part of your abdominals and into the space between your shoulder blades. Feel your stomach, your chest, and your upper back expand as you breathe in. And as you exhale, try and exhale more air than you already breathed in. Feeling the low back and chest rise with our breath now. Notice how everything can begin to move and articulate as we inhale and exhale, acting like an accordion, expanding and contracting. This may seem like small work, but we are using the force of gravity to slowly bring our body into the backspace. Into the backspace is where we do all of our healing. It's where the body wants us to live. It's our strongest, most protected place. So letting our bones of our shoulders, upper arms fall into the backspace. Letting our leg, thigh bones fall into the backspace. Letting our spine elongate and fall into the backspace. Anytime that you want to adjust, I encourage you to do adjustments. Adjust your hips, your tailbone, anything that needs to adjust if you feel like too much pressure is being involved. If you ever feel like there's too much pressure happening at your low back tailbone, we might need to adjust the angle of our tailbone. So our tailbone, that tail of ours, we can adjust it underneath in a tuck. We can extend it into the ground, so a tuck and extend. We can pull it to the right and we can pull it to the left. Oftentimes we get caught in one of those degrees, maybe a little bit extended and pulled to the right, or maybe a little bit of tucked and pulled to the left. Wherever your tailbone is, you can adjust it. Simply take the two index and middle fingers and place them on the top of your pubic bone. Once you feel your pubic bone, you can adjust your tailbone and feel how you can move left, right, up and down, or at any angle until your low back, stomach, hips begin to feel at ease and organized in a longer, more decompressed state. We have 3 minutes and 45 seconds left for this first round. I felt my body just begin to settle. We are doing such good work for our nervous systems, for our mind, for our musculoskeletal system. The power of creating space in the body is something that we should not overlook. If you think about modern fitness and exercise culture, it's all about creating tension. It's all about contracting the body. If you go into the gym, you'll see everyone contract, 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 create tension, create tension, create tension. Even if you go into a yoga studio, they're going to put you in different positions, and you're going to see everyone with a very stern face trying to create the most amount of tension dispersed throughout their entire body. The goal is not necessarily to feel at ease or light. The goal in modern exercise, yoga, physical therapy, is creating tension, is binding the body together. And there is always a time and place to create tension. But often life in our modern lifestyle creates so much unnecessary tension for us already. Learning how to create tension and proper tension in the body is extremely important. But even more important is learning how to let that tension go. Learning how to reorganize tension, to disperse it, to calm it down. It is the flip side to the exercise coin. Tightening up the ropes of our connective tissue, muscles, and joints, but learning how to loosen them up, to let go of tension. That's an entire skill in and of itself. During this course, we're going to be oscillating back and forth through letting go of tension and creating proper tension, letting go of tension and creating proper tension. This is the equilibrium and balancing act when we are learning to live pain-free again. It's about doing less work in some places and doing more work in other places. And the better we are at turning on and turning off, or turning up and turning down, the more that we can find that perfect balance and then adjust on the fly as needed. Here's our last 30 seconds. Fantastic work. That's done with our 10 minutes. To nicely get out of this position, what I recommend is that we gently pull our knees to our chest, curl over to one side, like a side fetal position. Place our hands underneath our head and shoulders and slowly work our way up. For the next 6 minutes, we're going to be working a pigeon stretch. This pigeon stretch is going to continue to work our hips into a back space. We're going to be working for 3 minutes on each hip. You have two options. The first option for the pigeon stretch is to do it normally on the ground. The second option for the pigeon stretch is to do an elevated position, a pigeon stretch on this couch surface or whatever elevated surface you have, or you can find another one. The elevated pigeon is my favorite, but you want to try both of those and figure out which one is going to feel the best. Let's get started. I'm going to go into a right pigeon on my right side in an elevated fashion. I'm going to pull my knee up and then create a shin angle that rocks out to about 22. It's not going to be at 45, it's just going to be at 22. I'm going to pull this same side hip back until I feel the load in my glutes, and I'm going to relax here. If you want to see that setup from the front, I'm going to find my right side, create an angle that's about 22, find my right hip, and hang out. All of our pressure should be right here in the back side, right side of our hip. We've got 2.5 more minutes for this right side. For these next minutes, I want you to breathe into the front of your hip crease and into the back space of the same side hip, your right hip. Even though we're holding a static position, feel free to elevate, pull down, move left, move right. Micro adjustments. Learning how to make micro adjustments is a very strong thing. The reason for that is because a micro adjustment happens from a small communication or response from your body saying, oh, something feels a little pinchy, something feels like it's getting fatigued or too much pressure, and so you respond to that by making an adjustment. The better we are at responding and making adjustments, the more we can listen and respond to what our body is telling us. Last 60 seconds. Very nice. There's our time. Let's slowly come out of this, super slow, and find our left side. We're going to do the exact same thing. Find a nice angle, find our left hip, and just slowly sink into that position. You might notice immediately that your left hip feels different than your right. This is 100% okay. Your left hip and your right hip are their own person, and they do not need to feel or even look exactly the same. Instead, we just want to feel this hip and say, what does this hip specifically want, need? What is it saying? How can I make micro adjustments to really settle and make this hip feel good and feel spacious? This work that we are doing right now, it's similar to what you might imagine taking a shower, brushing your teeth, taking some supplements, drinking some water. It's the general maintenance that we can do on our bodies that really has a profound effect. These very simple things, but done on routine and repeated frequently throughout our week, can have very big effects on the overall health of our body. You don't brush your teeth for one day, okay, you can get away with it. 2 days, it's getting a little stanky. 3, 4 days, and then eventually after a week, you got a problem. Got a problem on your hands. The same thing with our musculoskeletal system. It just takes some very basic maintenance and understanding of how to work with it. The teeth want to be clean and fresh. Our body wants to be hydrated. We want to have the right minerals, supplements, and nutrition. We also want the right length and space in the body. A nice organization of our joints' connective tissue. When we kind of categorize it in that sense, it really makes sense. The difficult part is that from an early age, we were not instilled with the behavior to drink water like we were to drink water or brush our teeth. We weren't instilled with the behavior to take care of our musculoskeletal system in the same way. We expected it to just function and perform perfectly without any maintenance. There's our time. Round 1 is complete. We're now going to go into our second round of our decompression position. This time, when we get into our decompression position, and I hope you're making your way there, we're going to do the same position, thinking about the same things, but this time while you're breathing, I want you to breathe in through your nose and then out through your mouth. And when you breathe out through your mouth, I want your lips and your face to be relaxed. This is really going to help you let go of certain tensions that have accumulated in your body. Breathing in through our nose, out through the mouth, through a relaxed face and lips. It's very hard to hold on to tension and relax the face and lips on an exhale. On the opposite side, if we, with our lips like we're blowing through a straw, we can feel pressure increase, tension increase in our body. If we breathe only through our nose, we can do the same thing. So with simply exhaling through loose lips and relaxed face, we can start to let go of some of the pressures, some of the tensions that we have accumulated. I'm going to start our time. Align your feet, knees, and hips. Always allow yourself to organize in a good way. Find the backs of your shoulders on the ground. Your hands open to the ceiling. Breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth. Once again, your job is not to just simply lay here, but to take an internal inventory of the position of your tailbone, of the tension in the back of your thighs, the outsides of your thighs, the front of your hips, the front of your neck, the front of your shoulders, your collarbones, and your low back. And as you take inventory and scan your body from your toes to the top of your head, if If there's any place that feels as though there is a tension or pressure that would like to be organized or moved in a certain way, use the smallest movements possible and the expansion and exhalation of your breath to create change. Learning how to breathe into certain pockets of our body, expand it with the breath, is a very powerful way that we can let go of certain tensions. This isn't a woo-woo or esoteric thing about breath work or anything. In fact, it has to do with the way that muscles contract. Muscles contract like little hooks, and in order for them to unhook, they need oxygen. So if there's any place in your body that feels as though there's excessive contraction, tension, or pressure, sending oxygen to that place with your breath, feeling it expand with your breath, and then feeling it condense and let go with your exhale, that is how you can decompress your body. It is a skill to send our breath and oxygen to certain places, to use our exhalation through loose lips and a relaxed face to let tension fall from our body. It is a skill, and really the only way to learn a skill is to practice it. One way that we can downregulate the body, and downregulate is a fancy term for creating a parasympathetic tone in our nervous system. Parasympathetic meaning resting, digesting, healing. Parasympathetic tone also results in our blood pressure lowering, and our heart rate slowing. And one of the easiest ways that we can create some parasympathetic tone or downregulate our body and its nervous system is through long exhales. Inhaling and feeling the areas of your body expand, and then exhaling much, much more than you have already inhaled, and making that exhale twice as long as your inhale. We have 2.5 more minutes on our clock. Fantastic job. Let's slowly come out of this, bringing our knees into our chest, curling over to one side, slowly raising up. For our next 6 minutes, we're just going to engage in some gentle rocking with our hips forward and backward, engaging into some new space and creating a little bit more opening in those hips. There are many different ways to rock. You can put your hands on the couch surface. You can have your hands on the ground here. You can rock side to side or forward and backwards. We're going to be working for a total of 6 minutes. I'm going to break my rocking up into 2 minutes for 3 different types. The first one I'm going to be doing is with my hands on the couch. I'm going to rock side to side. That feels like in my brain what it's going to feel best. After I do that, then I'm going to go to the ground and engage in just some normal rocking, and then I'll go back into side to side rocking on the ground here today. Whatever position feels best for you, for your body, for your low back, for your hips, that's the one that you want to do. You want to work for 6 minutes. The amount that you work, the repetitions, the range of motion, the intensity, the speed, all of these things are in your control. So we want to give our body exactly what it needs, no more and no less. We don't want to do so little that we're not really making any changes and we're not engaged, and we don't want to do too more that we're creating too much tension in the body. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to get started here on some side-to-side rocking on the couch. My hands are here. I'm going to find my feet in the ground and just rock into my right hip, and to my left too. I'm gonna go with my elbows on the couch while I do this. Super relaxed. Just feeling each one of my hips pressurized in the back space. A little pause on each side. Just rocking. What we're looking for is engagement in that hip socket back glute and relaxation in the front of our hips. For our spine to open up in the back, to not curve underneath, but to actually hit more of an open position. As always, you're taking your tailbone and your pelvis and you're putting it in whatever place is best for you. Good, that's about 2 minutes on that. I'm gonna come into regular rockers here with my feet down. And just super slowly pull forward and back. I might make pause and make small adjustments. And continuing a really nice steady inhale and a very long exhale. The best place to be is when you're rocking and you're not really aware of repetitions or what you're doing, but you're kind of just responding as needed, pulling your hips back and moving your spine, just feeling different orientations, different pressures, maybe pausing in one spot but moving, hanging out, creating as much pressure and tension in the backside as you need. It's like perfect. Starting to collectively as a people let go of this idea that more work is better work. But the right work at the right time, that's what's important. It's not all about just getting it done and work and work and work and work, because you can break yourself. And if you break yourself, you can't work. So when we are on this path of working to bettering ourselves, working to provide for our families, working to grow, working to just live more. There's a time to do a lot of work. There's a time to do a little work. And when we are working, we want to be very specific on how much. A minute and a half left here for these rockers. I'm going to go back into the side-to-side rockers. This time we're going to hang out down at the bottom. Rock to the side, rock to the side. searching for those green lights, those little like positions and movements where your body's like, oh, that feels good. It's kind of what we're hunting for right now. Okay, that's the end of our time for our rocking. We've got one final decompression time. 10 minutes. Those last 2 rounds have actually been going pretty quickly. Okay. Let's jump into that. Now that you're a seasoned decompressor, it's up to you to position, to control breathing. Always looking for more space, more green lights. Just about halfway there. The last 5 minutes. It's very funny and ironic if you are doing this and this is all that you're doing, how often we wish for a reprieve from the hustle and bustle and work of our lives. And then we give ourselves a reprieve and put ourselves in a position like this where your job is to actually do less work than more work. And how much our minds want us to do more. Like, when is this over? I got stuff I gotta do. I gotta work. And we re-engage with our work. It's like, well, I gotta get this work done so I can go rest, so I can go not work, so I don't have to do any more work. And then we go do the no work, and we're like, when is this gonna be over? I'm gonna go work again. Oh. I think finding an enjoyment, amusement, process, presentness in both the times when we are working and when we're not working, I think that's one way to get out of the grass is greener, constantly looking forward to the next thing type of mentality. And yet our brains are organized forward. We understand life backwards, but we live forward, and we're constantly thinking about the next thing, the next whatever it is. And I don't think that is a coincidence that our bodies are designed to move forward, and our brain is forward thinking. It's part of who we are. Progress, growth, expansion. It's very rare for a human to say, how my body is and the experiences that I have and where I'm at right now is perfectly fine. And I wish nothing to change. It is almost universal across all humans to constantly be striving for more experiences, more growth, more expansion, more understanding, more capabilities. This more that is almost completely tied to who we are is because we are moving forward. Because our minds and our bodies are designed to move us forward. Because forward movement is life. So one way that we can help ourselves understand downregulation and decompression is that in order for us to move forward better, without pain, and with more presence, with more clarity, with less stuff going on, with more energy, more vitality, sometimes we have to stop our forward movement, pause, rest, recover, and heal. If a car is constantly on the road driving non-stop, surely it's going to break down much faster than the car that has the opportunity to go back in the garage, cool down and rest, get an oil change, get some things rearranged and cleaned up, get some new spark plugs, just the small maintenance stuff, small things, small tasks that don't take too much energy, but what they do require is for us to put ourselves in park, to turn off our engines, to put ourselves in a garage so that we can give ourselves the time and space to do those small acts of maintenance on ourselves. And those small acts of maintenance, when done in a nice routine, have a profound effect on the rest of our lives. That's the end of our time and the end of decompression level 1. Congratulations. If that is your first decompression session, you did a great job. I know you did. So many things came up, and this decompression level 1 is available to you at any time. At any time that you need to downregulate, give some love to your low back and to your hips, it is here for you. I cannot stress how important this is if you are currently living in a state of pain or tension that is something that you cannot get away from, whether it's in your low back, in your hips, or even your knees, your neck, or your shoulder. Parking, getting back into the garage, downregulating is one of the fastest ways that we can get back to a pain-free life. This has been Level 1 Decompression. Thank you for joining.